You walk down the street every day, passing dozens, maybe even hundreds of faces. You see them in your workplace, at the grocery store, maybe even in your own family. But what if I told you that statistically, 1 out of every 100 people you encounter is likely a psychopath? That's right. Psychopathy isn't just the stuff of horror movies or true crime documentaries, it's a real personality disorder affecting millions. The vast majority of psychopaths aren't violent criminals, but they are master manipulators, able to blend seamlessly into society. They can be charming, charismatic, and downright disarming, all while lacking the basic capacity for empathy and remorse. So how can you tell if you're dealing with a psychopath? It's not always easy, but over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 10 telltale traits that can help you spot the red flags. We'll dive deep into the mind of a psychopath, exploring what makes them tick, and more importantly, how you can protect yourself from their manipulative tactics. Stay tuned as we unmask the hidden world of psychopathy. One of the hallmarks of a psychopath is their uncanny ability to charm. They're masters of first impressions, often coming across as confident, engaging, and quick-witted, but it's all an act. Deep down, they lack genuine emotional connection. This superficial charm is what makes them so dangerous. Pay attention to actions, not just words, and trust your gut instinct. Let's talk about a hallmark of psychopathy, a grandiose sense of self-worth. Psychopaths believe they are superior, with an inflated ego. They exaggerate their achievements and crave admiration, but this is often a facade to mask deep insecurities. Don't feed their ego. Remember, it's a fragile facade. Let's face it, folks, everybody lies sometimes. We've all told a little white lie here and there to spare someone's feelings or avoid an awkward situation. But for psychopaths, lying is like breathing. It's second nature, a way of life. And I'm not just talking about little white lies. Psychopaths engage in pathological lying, a persistent pattern of deception that permeates every aspect of their lives. They lie effortlessly, convincingly, and without a shred of remorse, even when caught red-handed. These lies can range from small fabrications to elaborate stories designed to manipulate, deceive, or exploit others. They might lie about their past, their credentials, their accomplishments, or even their feelings for you. The scary part is, they often believe their own lies, which makes them even more convincing. Trust, the foundation of any healthy relationship, becomes impossible when you can't believe a word they say. Now, if there's one thing you need to understand about psychopaths, it's that they are masters of manipulation. They see people as pawns in their game, objects to be used and discarded at will. They study those around them, learning their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities, their deepest desires, and then use that information to exploit them for their own gain. They're incredibly skilled at reading people, sensing their emotions, and mirroring them back to gain their trust. They might pretend to be interested in your hobbies, share your values, or even feign vulnerability to elicit your sympathy. But make no mistake, folks, it's all a calculated act. Their goal is to gain control, to get you to do what they want, whether it's loaning them money, covering up their lies, or compromising your own values. Psychopaths often use a combination of charm, coercion, and intimidation to get their way. The key to breaking free from a psychopath's manipulative grasp is to recognize the signs of their tactics. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You know, one of the most chilling aspects of psychopathy is the profound lack of remorse or guilt. These individuals can inflict pain, both emotional and physical, without a shred of conscience. They can lie, cheat, steal, and manipulate, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake, and yet, they feel absolutely no remorse for their actions. It's like they're missing a fundamental part of what makes us human. The ability to empathize, to understand, and share the feelings of others. They simply don't possess the capacity to grasp the concept of guilt or remorse. Their brains are wired differently. They lack the emotional depth and capacity for empathy that allows most of us to understand the impact of our actions on others. This lack of remorse is a defining characteristic, one that allows them to engage in harmful and exploitative behaviors without experiencing any emotional repercussions. We often think of emotions as being at the core of the human experience. Joy, sadness, anger, fear. These emotions color our world, shaping how we interact with others and navigate the complexities of life. But for psychopaths, emotions are often fleeting and superficial, lacking the depth and intensity that most of us experience. They might mimic emotions, putting on a convincing display of happiness, sadness, or anger, but these emotions are often short-lived and lack any real authenticity. It's like they're reading from a script, playing the part of a normal, emotionally responsive person, but never truly feeling the emotions themselves. This shallow affect can make it incredibly difficult to connect with a psychopath on a deeper level. They might seem charming and engaging on the surface, but as you get to know them, you'll likely notice a distinct lack of emotional depth. This lack of emotional depth can be incredibly unsettling for those around them. Empathy, folks, it's the glue that holds society together. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, to step into their shoes and see the world through their eyes. It's what allows us to connect with each other on a deeper level, to form meaningful relationships and to build a more compassionate world. But for psychopaths, empathy is a foreign concept. They are incapable of genuinely understanding or sharing the emotions of others. Without empathy, they have no qualms about exploiting, manipulating, or harming others. They simply don't possess the capacity to understand the pain they inflict. Relationships are transactional, based on what they can get from the other person, rather than on mutual respect, understanding, and care. This lack of empathy is a core trait that significantly impairs their ability to function in a socially acceptable manner. You know, one of the most frustrating things about dealing with a psychopath is their utter inability to accept responsibility for their actions. It's like they have a Teflon coating, nothing sticks, no matter how hard you try to hold them accountable. They're masters of deflection, always finding someone or something else to blame for their mistakes. You'll hear them say things like, "It wasn't my fault, you made me do it," or "You're overreacting, it wasn't that big of a deal." They'll minimize their actions, deny any wrongdoing, and twist the narrative to fit their own self-serving agenda. This inability to accept responsibility stems from their inflated sense of self-worth and lack of empathy. In their minds, they can do no wrong. They're always the victim, never the perpetrator. This lack of accountability can make it incredibly challenging to have a healthy relationship with a psychopath. Imagine for a moment living in a world where everything seems dull and mundane, where everyday experiences fail to spark even a flicker of excitement. That's the reality for many psychopaths. They have an insatiable need for stimulation, a constant craving for excitement that drives them to seek out risky, reckless, and often dangerous behaviors. This need for stimulation stems from a physiological difference in their brains. Their brains have a higher threshold for excitement, meaning they need more stimulation than the average person to feel satisfied. This need for stimulation can manifest in a variety of ways. They crave novelty and excitement, quickly growing bored with routine and responsibility. Understanding this need for stimulation is crucial in recognizing and potentially managing the behavior of a psychopath. One of the most disturbing aspects of psychopathy is the tendency towards a parasitic lifestyle. Now, I'm not talking about literal parasites here, folks. I'm talking about a pattern of behavior where psychopaths rely on others for their emotional, financial, and social needs, often without offering anything in return. They see the world as their personal oyster, and they have no qualms about exploiting others to get what they want. They're masters of charm and manipulation, able to weasel their way into people's lives and then drain them of their resources. They might move from relationship to relationship, using their partners for financial support, housing, or emotional validation. They might borrow money they have no intention of repaying, exploit their friends' generosity, or take advantage of their colleagues' hard work. This parasitic lifestyle can have devastating consequences for those who fall prey to it. We've covered a lot of ground today, folks, and I know it can be overwhelming. But understanding the traits of psychopathy is crucial in protecting yourself and those you love from their manipulative tactics. Remember, psychopaths are master manipulators, often hiding behind a mask of normalcy. They can be charming, charismatic, and disarming, all while lacking the capacity for empathy, remorse, and genuine emotional connection. If you recognize these traits in someone you know, be cautious. Set boundaries, trust your gut, and don't be afraid to walk away from the situation. Knowledge is power, and by understanding the mind of a psychopath, you can better protect yourself from their harmful behaviors. And for more information on mental health, check out our other videos on this channel.